All right, today we are diving into a really powerful but honestly often misunderstood tool for anybody innovating in medicine or tech. It's called patent term extension, and it's all about turning those frustrating regulatory delays into a massive strategic asset. Seriously, getting this right can totally change the game for your company. So, right at the center of this whole thing is a huge conflict. You've got these two clocks running at the same time. On one hand, you have your patent clock. That thing starts the second you file your application, kicking off your 20-year protection window. But then there's the FDA clock, the one that actually lets you sell your product. That one doesn't even start ticking for years. And that gap, that's where you have protection, but absolutely no product on the market to show for it. Okay, let's really dig into this race against time. A 20-year patent term sounds pretty fair for most inventions, right? But if your product needs the green light from the FDA, you can easily spend a decade, sometimes more, just in clinical trials and review. And all that time, your patent is just getting older. It's losing value before you've made a single dime. And yeah, there's a name for this. It's called patent term erosion. Just imagine pouring billions of dollars into R&D, finally getting your product approved, and then you look up and realize you've only got a few years of patent protection left. This became a massive problem, threatening the entire innovation model, especially for life-saving drugs.
So to fix this pretty unfair system, Congress stepped in and passed the Hatch-Waxman Act back in 1984. This was landmark legislation. It created a lifeline, a way for innovators to get some of that lost patent time back. And that lifeline is what we now call patent term extension, or PTE.
The core idea here is actually pretty simple. You should be able to get back some of the time that your patent was just sitting there, losing value, while your product was stuck in the government's regulatory maze. The real-world calculation can get complicated, but that's the spirit of it, giving you back time lost during trials and FDA review. So how much time can you get back? Well, the law lets you reclaim up to a maximum of 5 years of that lost patent term. And look, for a blockbuster drug or a revolutionary medical device, those 5 years, that can be worth hundreds of millions, sometimes even billions of dollars. It's a huge deal. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. The law also puts a cap on the total time. Even with your 5-year extension, your remaining patent life can't be more than 14 years from the day your product gets approved. This is exactly why you have to be so strategic. It's not just about getting an extension, it's about maximizing your valuable market time within these two big rules. All right, so let's shift gears a little. I want to be clear. This is not just some legal paperwork you file and forget. Thinking about and planning for PTE is a core business strategy. It directly hits your company's valuation, your power in negotiations, and yeah, sometimes it's about plain and simple survival. Just think about the ripple effects here. A longer patent life, that makes investors really happy, which can boost your valuation. It builds a wall against generic competition, which can literally wipe out 80% of your revenue overnight. It gives you the breathing room you need to scale up your business, and it gives you so much more leverage when you're at the table negotiating those big partnership or licensing deals. You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head. For a big, established pharma company, PTE is about managing an asset. But for a startup, it's about survival. It can literally be the difference between having enough runway to get profitable and crashing and burning just as you're taking off. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty because this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The rules for getting a patent term extension are a little different depending on what you're making, whether it's a drug, a biologic, or a medical device. But first, before we get into any of that, there is one rule that is the same for everyone, and it is absolutely brutal. You have to apply for PTE within 60 days of getting your FDA approval. Not 61 days, 60. If you miss that window, your chance is gone. Poof, forever. There are no do-overs, no exceptions. Now on to the products. Traditional drugs are really the classic example here. PTE was basically invented for them. It was designed specifically to help companies get back a piece of that decade plus that's so often lost while a new drug goes through all the hoops of preclinical studies, clinical trials, and that long FDA review. Biologics are fascinating. They have this kind of dual shield protection. Right off the bat, they get 12 years of regulatory exclusivity, which means the FDA just can't approve a competing biosimilar. But here's the really strategic move. A smart BTE can stretch your patent life beyond that 12-year mark. This creates this powerful, layered defense that gives you a massive competitive edge. And for medical devices, this is an often missed opportunity. It all comes down to a key distinction. If your device goes through the faster 510(k) process, usually because it's pretty similar to something already out there, then nope, you're not eligible for PTE. But if your device is new and innovative enough that it needs a full pre-market approval, or PMA, then bingo, you are eligible. So knowing all this, how do you actually win this time game? Well, the companies that really crush this don't just react after they get approval. They are proactive. They think about this from day one. I mean, look at the difference here. The reactive way is to wait till after approval and then just toss it over to the lawyers to handle the paperwork. The proactive strategy? That starts when you're writing your very first patent draft. It means your IP folks, your regulatory team, and your business leaders are all in a room together, making sure your patent strategy perfectly aligns with your regulatory journey. That's how you turn this from a legal chore into a core financial asset. So here's the big takeaway. Planning for patent term extension isn't really about clawing back time you've already lost. It's about designing your entire innovation journey from the beginning to create the future your breakthrough product truly deserves. It's about building that runway for success. Ultimately, in a world defined by waiting, PTE is one of the only tools you have to control time. It lets you turn a frustrating delay into a real strategic advantage. So the question for you isn't just if you'll apply for it, it's how are you going to build your entire innovation strategy around it.